Hey, Dusty Woodworkers, how are you doing today? Look at this. This is a bandsaw. What do you do with a bandsaw? Well, you cut stuff, you big silly. You cut stuff. How can we cut stuff with a bandsaw? A bandsaw is pretty cool. We can cut this way. We can cut across the grain. We can cut with the grain. We can do a resaw application and cut right down that middle. We can cut curves. We can do anything you want to do with a bandsaw as long as you know how to use it. The most important thing is this guard. If you notice, it's red for a reason. It's danger, danger, danger. I've seen a lot of dumb people cut like this. Look at all that exposed blade. I mean, are you really looking? Look, we don't like that. I don't like that. I'm cutting about 7/8 inch of a board. I don't need to have all that blade exposed. The first thing you need to do is adjust this guy. If you can adjust him, there is a little clamp in the back. I'll show you where that is. See this guy? If he's tight, I can't turn this. There's some slop, but he only goes so far. I can't move him unless I loosen this. Once I loosen it, I can move it down. I can move it up. We move it down. How far down? Well, that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked that. If you look in a manual or in a safe, anything, if you look in anything, it's gonna say 1/4 of an inch. It's stupid. Who cares about 1/4 of an inch? I'm really not gonna come over here and try to measure the bottom of that guy to 1/4 of an inch. No, don't even think 1/4 of an inch. You're wasting your time. The real secret is these guys. This is the lowest part of this whole guard assembly. My finger doesn't fit. If I go up, my finger fits. I have to lower this down far enough where my finger doesn't fit. I don't want to go so close that I can't see what I'm cutting. So I can raise this up a little bit, down, up, so that my finger really doesn't fit under there anymore. So then I tighten it. That's where I adjust it. So my finger doesn't fit. I can cut across the grain, so I can do a cross cut. I can cut with the grain. This is a ripping operation. I can cut this way. If I cut this board the thick way and make 2 boards, this is a resaw application. I'm going to do everything freehand because usually I use the bandsaw for cutting free form shapes. Something that really doesn't have 90 degrees to it. So, as I do this, you're going to see my hands aren't in front where that blade is. They're always off to the side. If I put my fingers here and push through, when that blade gets done cutting, it jerks because there's no more force. There's no more pressure. It just goes. I don't want my hands in front of that blade. I want them anywhere but in front of that blade. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. It took a little bit, maybe 2-3 seconds for it to start up. So then I'm just going to cut straight through. My hands are off to the side. Can I cut faster than that? Yes, but I don't want it to eat chocolate cake too fast. Now, I'm going to try to cut this out. It might work, it might not. I cannot just go in and turn. I have to push and turn at the same time. So I'm not simply just turning it, I am advancing as I turn. If I just turn it, I'm going to break that blade. Notice my hands do not go in front of that blade. when you apply the brake on a bandsaw, if it has a brake, you don't step on it like you just saw a deer pop out of the woods. Nice and gentle pressure on the brake. So I cut this. You can see I got really close to my line, a little bit far away, a lot more far away, then I got back closer. It doesn't matter. I want to be about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch away from my line. Over here, I'm a lot more like 3/16 inches away. Does that matter? No, because I can always cut more out. Over here, I think I was too close. When I sand that, I'm actually going to be past my line. So I like being about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch away. If I don't like this, I can always go back and cut it. Let's try it out. You can either spend time cutting or spend time sanding. I'd rather spend my time cutting because I hate sanding. And see, look, I cut it. It's more manageable. Are you happy now? I did it. You're welcome. See, we actually cut all that extra off. I'd rather cut it than sand it. I hate sanding. Sanding's stupid. But what about a resaw application? Well, cool. Let's try this out. Let's see the tallest part of this, then just a little bit more. If you have to do a resaw application like this, your fingers are right here where they shouldn't be. So as you get closer, you're gonna need something to help push it through. That's where my scrap board comes in. So we did a nice little resaw application. You see where the blade went into my push stick? That would have been my finger if I was pushing like this. And no, I'm not that confident where I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna put my fingernails there because I'm advanced. I'm a woodworker. I know how to do stuff. I'm just gonna, no, okay? You're fooling yourself. You're not that good. Use a push stick, use a scrap board. Whatever you have to do, get your fingers away from the blade. There are other applications you can do on here, but for what we do, that's primarily the most efficient way and the most that we actually do. We usually cut curves and we cut things straight. And when I mean straight, it's not exactly straight. I mean, look at this. That is not straight at all. But if for some reason I just had to hog off a little chunk of wood, this guy can do it pretty easy. Let's review, shall we? The guard is only maybe your finger thickness away from the top of your board. You tighten it down, you let it get to speed, meaning I'm going to turn it on. It's going to take about 2-3 seconds to get up to speed, and I push nice and slow. Remember chocolate cake. If you're eating a piece of chocolate cake, nom 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 nom, you're only going to eat it as fast as you can actually swallow it. This is chocolate cake to this guy. You're only going to push it as fast as he can eat it. If you eat chocolate cake too fast, it's going to hit your gag button, boom, chocolate cake in reverse. When you feed chocolate cake to these guys too fast, something's going to happen. It's either going to hurt your board, hurt the machine, hurt you, hurt something. Chocolate cake slowly. So I hope you learned a little bit about the bandsaw today. So thanks you dusty woodworkers. I'll see you next time. Oh, look at this bandsaw. Bandsaws can do stuff. Bandsaw, yeah. Yeah, let's just keep talking the same bandsaw over and over again because you're nervous. Okay, I'll get my life together. Let's go.